Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and welcome to my first ever installment of... Disney Versus. This is the start of a new series where I review a classic film from Walt Disney Animation Studios, and then review another film right after it that rivals it in some way. And to start off this first video, let's look at one of Disney's darkest and most underrated films, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This film has a reputation amongst all fans of Disney. Some claim it's one of their most overlooked classics, which deserves more attention, while others see it as an unfunny butchering of the original novel by Victor Hugo, which I haven't read. But me, I'm gonna look at this film on its own and judge it for what it is. So get your mask ready for the Feast of Fools. This is Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So we open with very slow church bells and pitch black opening credits. I bet that means this movie is going to be boring and dreadfully slow to get through. Whoa! Okay, I'd like to give everyone a little piece of trivia about myself. I don't remember ever seeing this movie until I was 17. I'm not that young, but I was still at a bit of an older age than you'd expect to be watching Disney films anymore. I mean, I do remember as a kid watching most of the movies from the Disney Renaissance, which for those of you who don't know, it's this set of movies. But The Hunchback of Notre Dame was one I essentially missed. I mean, I have memories of watching it, but no recollection of what I actually thought of it. So you'd think that maybe as a kid I just saw Hunchback as too dark for me. And I'd say that's true. Except as a kid, there's another really dark Disney film I watched all the time, and it was The Black Cauldron. However, while Hunchback did get some praise, The Black Cauldron is known as one of Disney's worst movies.
I was left with no munchings and crunching. Big snap. Clever, sharp-eyed Googie saw the piggy run. Now, Googie remembers. Yes.
Why I watched it so much, I don't know, especially when I could have been watching this operatic genius.
I said, you have my attention.
So after that towering choir, we open with a song from a gypsy jester named Clopin, voiced by Paul Candle, who sings the story of our main characters.
It is a tale of a man and a monster. Four frightened gypsies slid silently under the docks near Notre Dame. But a trap had been laid for the gypsies, and they gazed up in fear and alarm.
Well, at least the movie's tackling issues that aren't too problematic and won't ever get brought up in the future.
At a figure whose clutches were iron as much as the bells. Judge Claude Frollo, the bells of Notre Dame.
Oh, this is our hero, obviously. Actually, this is our villain, Judge Claude Frollo, voiced by the late Tony Jay, obviously as a means of sounding as evil as possible.
Bring these gypsy vermin to the Palace of Justice.
You there! What are you hiding?
Stolen goods, no doubt. Take them from her.
She ran.
Or you could just show it was a baby. I mean, I doubt he immediately killed a baby. Should you two be off doing America? But this recent mother outruns a strong horse somehow and makes her way to the church for safety.
Sanctuary! Please give us sanctuary!
A baby? A monster.
Oh, I've made a foolish mistake. Well, I could take this infant to an orphanage, or... Whoa! I mean, I doubt he immediately killed a baby. I didn't expect to be proven wrong this soon to the review. I mean, geez, Disney, you're trying to hit the gambit for most evil soul in all of humanity. I think the devil's trying to take notes from this guy. That's Heather from Total Drama. Yeah, that's right. But he's stopped by the Archdeacon, voiced by the also late David Ogden Stiers, who sees his horrible deeds and proceeds to guilt-trip him with religion.
This is an unholy demon. I'm sending it back to hell, where it belongs.
Now you would add this child's blood to your guilt on the steps of Notre Dame.
My conscience is clear.
You can lie to yourself and your minions, but you never can run from nor hide what you've done from the eyes of very eyes of Notre Dame.
Jesus Christ, Disney! I mean that quite literally. Jesus Christ! This opening already has enough sins to make Jeremy Scott have a field day, but now you include a metaphor from someone that the villain for his deeds in the first 5 minutes of the film will be going to hell? I mean, he's not wrong, but still, holy cow, this is Disney we're talking about, right?
What must I do?
Care for the child and raise it as your own.
He reluctantly agrees, and cementing his title of Parent of the Year, places him in the bell tower, a room very hard to get to, views this unholy demon as a means to an end rather than an opportunity for actual redemption.
Even this foul creature may yet prove one day to be of use to me.
And even gives him such a terrible name that makes Kanye and Kim's name choices seem sensible.
A name that means half-formed, Quasimodo. Here is a riddle to guess if you can. Sing the bells of Notre Dame. Who is the monster and who is the man?
Well, Cleopon, as fascinating and deep as those questions are, I have a bigger one from your story. Does no one else realize that this story never would have happened had someone been at the door of the cathedral? Was no one hearing loud knocks for sanctuary from the outside? Seriously, this whole story might never have happened had someone just been at that door.
Our Lord works in mysterious ways.
But we flash forward 20 years later, where the hideous but aesthetically pleasing Quasimodo, voiced by Tom Hulce, makes his entrance.
Good morning. Will today be the day? Are you ready to fly? You sure? Good day to try.
So he talks to birds. But in all fairness, 20 years of isolation must have done some pretty strange things to his brain.
Oh, man! I thought he'd never leave.
Well, that's what you get for sleeping with your mouth open.
I take that back. Strange is the last name of a sorcerer from Marvel Comics. This is a Keith David acid trip. Yeah, we see the most panned element of the movie, the Gargoyles, voiced by Mary Wicks, Charles Kimbrough, and Jason Alexander, proving he can make worse casting choices than Dunstan checks in.
I don't get it.
Perhaps he's sick.
Impossible. If 20 years of listening to you two hasn't made him sick by now, nothing will.
Actually, as much as I'll be making fun of these characters, I'm gonna attempt the impossible and try to say one genuinely nice thing about these characters by the end of the movie. Can I do it? We'll have to just wait and find out. They all mention a big festival known as the Feast of Fools, which is happening today, but this sours Quasimodo's spirits as he can't go.
As your friends and guardians, we insist you attend the festival.
Thanks for the encouragement, but you're all forgetting one big thing.
What?
My master, Frollo. He'd be furious if I asked to go.
Who says you gotta ask?
Oh, no.
Yeah, sneak. Oh, you could wear a disguise. Just this once. What Frollo doesn't know can't hurt you.
You're right. I'll go.
Oh, hurrah!
I'll get cleaned up.
Yes, sir!
I'll stroll down those stairs. I'll march through the doors and...
Good morning, Quasimodo.
Whoa, this guy is so menacing that Quasi didn't even hear him coming up the stairs? Or maybe he did, but the voices of the gargoyles in his head overpowered it somehow. Which, yeah, it looks pretty clever that immediately the gargoyles turn back into stone as soon as Frollo comes in. It gives this impression that they're just figments of Quasimodo's imagination. And it can be 100% confirmed they're not, they're quite real. Yeah, how these gargoyles are real, I don't know. Unless the religious stuff going on is complete bogus and Disney magic rules all.
Shall we review your alphabet today?
Oh, yes, master.
Very well. A,
Abomination.
B,
Blasphemy.
C.
What kind of education is this? There's no math or history or even Bible study going on. It's just various ominous, vaguely biblical terms associated with letters which doesn't even qualify for English class.
C,
Contrition.
D,
Damnation.
E.
Eternal damnation.
Although props for having the word damn be used in a Disney film, Percy Jackson approves.
You are thinking about going to the festival. Thieves and cutpurses, the dregs of humankind, all mixed together in a shallow, drunken stupor.
So he forbids Quasi from going to the festival, but after he leaves, Quasi's desires inspire him to sing the ever-popular song, Out There.
Out there, strolling by the sand.
Of course, the song is wonderful, even if Tom Hulce's singing is slightly pitchy. Then again, he's known for playing a famous composer, not singer, so cut him some slack.
One day out there.
We transition down to the streets of Paris to see some secondary Disney characters. including Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Did I mention that the same people who directed that film directed this film? You'd never be able to tell otherwise. But we get introduced to some characters actually relevant to the story. We have the alluring, easily misjudged Esmeralda, voiced by Demi Moore, along with her goat Jolly, and the dashing Captain Phoebus, voiced by Kevin Kline, returning from a war that never gets addressed. Which is true of Gaston, the live-action Beauty and the Beast too. We don't need both films linked to this one. Phoebus becomes attracted to Esmeralda and helps her flee the guards, who then escort him to see Judge Claude Frollo, who apparently works in Dracula's castle and is shown to be whipping the former captain of the guards with very little reason.
Ease up. Wait between lashes. Otherwise, the old sting will dull him to the new. You know, my last captain of the guard was, a bit of a disappointment to me.
He reveals his goal is to completely eradicate gypsies from Paris for their heathen ways.
Their heathen ways inflame the people's lowest instincts, and they must be stopped.
I was summoned from the wars to capture fortune tellers and palm readers.
We'll just chuck that into the pile of things that Frollo does that he doesn't have much of a reason for doing, but hey, any excuse to hear Tony J talk.
I believe they have a safe haven within the walls of this very city. They call it the Court of Miracles.
What are we going to do about it, sir?
Oh, that is despicable. I love it.
Isn't it fitting how one Tony J character can perfectly describe another? There really is no shortage of Beauty and the Beast references for this movie. They make their way to the Feast of Fools, where Quasi joins in with a cloak. Because this crowd is so full of hunchbacks, he'll just blend in. Well, thankfully no one even knows how ugly he is, assuming his face is a mask.
Are you alright?
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Well, you're not hurt, are you? Here, let's see.
No!
See? No harm done. Just try to be a little more careful. By the way, great mask.
Insert Halloween cliches here. The holiday, not the movie.
Once a year we throw a party here in town.
We continue to hear the catchiest song in the musical, Topsy Turvy, where we see dogs walking people? I love animation where I can show totally weird things like that, but I gotta ask, how are dogs walking people? You can't just explain this away with magic in a movie with talking gargoyles. Actually, I guess you could.
Dance la Esmeralda.
So Esmeralda's G-rated routine is performed. No, seriously, this movie is rated G, where she seduces Frollo, not wanting any part of this.
Look at that disgusting display. Yes, sir.
This is most unorthodox.
Now's the time we crown the King of Fools. You all remember last year's king? For the face that's ugliest will be the King of Fools.
That distinction is unfortunately given to Quasimodo, but everyone applauds how strange he looks and it becomes a truly happy moment.
Pick a king who put the top in palm.
Okay, if you know the story, that isn't how it ends.
You think he's ugly now? Well, that's ugly.
Hail to the king!
Come on, guys, it's Quasimodo, not Fozzie Bear.
Where you going, Hunchback? The fun's just beginning!
This makes me wonder if they do this to every King of Fools. Did it happen to that other guy too? I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but 19th century France was messed up.
Master, please, help me!
Frollo does nothing to help him, but for every demon, there is an angel.
Get down at once.
Yes, Your Honor. Just as soon as I free this poor creature.
I forbid it. Mark my words, Gypsy. You will pay for this insolence.
Then it appears we've crowned the wrong fool. The only fool I see is you.
Captain Phoebus, arrest her.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 10 of you and 1 of me. What's a poor girl to do?
Witchcraft.
She literally did that earlier. Why is it only witchcraft now? I mean, I know she ticked you off, so any excuse to arrest her is warranted, but you're clearly a holy man despite your less than holy methods. So why weren't you like that at the beginning? I guess like most religious nuts, his beliefs teeter like a seesaw during an earthquake. After an epic but comedic escape, she hides in the cathedral only for Phoebus to spot her, which means of course he'll arrest her despite his attraction.
Yep, that's an alley.
No, of course he doesn't, and after a brief fight where she doesn't trust Phoebus, despite clearly seeing him help her twice before, they agree to a truce on a first-name basis, and he helps her by claiming her sanctuary.
I'm sorry, sir. She claimed sanctuary. There's nothing I can do.
Then drag her outside and...
Frollo, you will not touch her.
Don't worry. Minister Frollo learned years ago to respect the sanctity of the church.
So I guess that's it for Frollo in this scene. Oh right, I forgot, a new Oscar category for most twisted character outside of an Edgar Allan Poe book just popped up, and Frollo wants to be the frontrunner. Well, he's killed an innocent woman, nearly killed her baby, imprisoned him for 2 decades, and let him be humiliated in front of a whole crowd. But in today's society, no one would bat an eye to something like that. We need something that would really pop people's monocles. Something, baby, it's cold outside, hate-worthy.
You think you've outwitted me, but I'm a patient man. And gypsies don't do well inside stone walls.
What are you doing?
Winning the award! Congratulations, Frollo! You won the perviest character in animation! Why you want to win this award, I don't know, but again, any excuse to hear Tony J talk.
I know what you were imagining.
Such a clever witch. So typical of your kind to twist the truth, to cloud the mind with unholy thoughts.
Yep, Frollo is now enticed with Esmeralda. When did that happen? I mean, I know Esmeralda has a body that Ariana Grande would call competition, but Frollo didn't look attracted to her before. Actually, he looked disgusted. In fact, he acted disgusted. So why is he drooling over her all of a sudden? I guess his sexual urges are like his religious beliefs, teetering like a scale on a jello bowl.
You've chosen a magnificent prison, but it is a prison nonetheless. Set 1 foot outside, and you're mine.
We then get the slow, inspirational song, God Help the Outcasts.
I don't know if you can hear me, or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to a gypsy's prayer.
It's a nice tune with thought-provoking lyrics, though out of memorability, it's probably my least favorite song in the movie.
She's gotta love a guy like you.
I only said probably. Quasimodo finds her, leading her up to the bell tower where they of course bond. Oh, and this uncomfortable scene happens. Ew! I know it's a regular animal and a stone animal, but still, ew! Not that I really want to know the answer, but I'll ask anyways, why is that in the story? It doesn't add anything and is just creepy. In fact, go back to Frollo sniffing Esmeralda's hair, at least that was relevant to the plot. Thankfully that's just a blip, and Esme and Quasi interacting is the focus of this very touching scene.
I bet the king himself doesn't have a view like this. I could stay up here forever.
You could, you know.
No, I couldn't.
Oh, yes, you have sanctuary.
But not freedom. Gypsies don't do well inside stone walls.
But you're not like other gypsies. They are evil.
Who told you that?
Wow, that was remarkably sensible of Esmeralda to ask. Not, how dare you, or what is wrong with you? She flat asks where he got the idea from. I'm guessing that she's so used to prejudice that this seemed the most logical.
I am a monster, you know.
He told you that?
Look at me.
Give me your hand.
Why?
Just let me see it. Well, that's funny.
What?
I don't see any.
Any what?
Monster lines. Not a single one.
Actually, has anybody else realized that Esmeralda is one of Disney's best female characters? First, that body. Wow. Okay, taking that out of the picture, she's a hardworking, generous woman with some decent muscle, a sharp mind, and a caring heart, as well as the shockingly reasonable move of not getting mad for obviously uninformed prejudice from an innocent soul.
Now you look at me. Do you think I'm evil?
No. No, you were kind and good and...
And a gypsy. And maybe Frollo's wrong about the both of us.
Why isn't she in the Disney princess lineup? I mean, yeah, she's not a princess, but neither are Mulan, Pocahontas, or Alice for that matter, and they're in the lineup, so why not Esmeralda? She clearly represents all the strong, likable characteristics you want to see in Disney female leads. And yet, I've seen countless Disney princess, oh heck, Disney female lead photos that don't include her anywhere. Not even in Wreck-It Ralph 2, which included princesses from Pixar films. Esmeralda, you got gypped. Oh my god. That word is derived from the word gypsy. This is too ironic for Alanis Morissette to handle. But Quasimodo sees her value and helps her escape in a genuinely suspenseful scene of climbing down Notre Dame. And in return, she gives him a token of her gratitude.
Then I ring the Vespers and whatever's good for you.
Aww. She also gives him a necklace which gives him a clue to the location of the Court of Miracles. I'd argue that's a risky, even dumb move given this guy is in constant contact with Frollo, but... No but, that actually does come by here in the butt later on. He makes his way back up to the tower and sings about how Esmeralda is the one person who's shown him true affection in his life.
I dare to dream that she might even care for me. And as I ring these bells tonight...
How do you live with yourself? It's not easy.
But in an ingenious transition of tones, we cut back to the Palace of Justice, where Frollo lives, honestly it's never established, and sings a song about his vengeance and simultaneous lust for Esmeralda.
Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin.
Most people put this up there with Be Prepared from The Lion King as one of the best villain songs in movie history. I will not argue with that opinion whatsoever. The imagery is poetic and shocking, the character development top-notch, the orchestration is a very smart reprieve of the opening song, and Tony J. Speak's singing puts so much tragedy into this otherwise irredeemable character.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch who set this flame.
I'm not sure why I'm crying over this awful person, but maybe it's because a guy who lives alone and sings to his fireplace about a criminal he wants to bang is so visibly pathetic. In fact, I'll reuse that Seinfeld clip.
How do you live with yourself? It's not easy.
During his song, he learns of her escape, which fires him up even more. And the next day, he demands a citywide search for Esmeralda.
10 pieces of silver for the gypsy Esmeralda. Lock them up!
He gets no results, and Phoebus becomes genuinely angry at the mistreatment of the Parisians. Oh, and the fact that Frollo's so viciously going after the woman he also loves probably doesn't help.
He's never harmed anyone.
Frollo's gone mad.
But things go too far when Frollo decides to burn the house of an innocent miller out of suspicion that he might be housing Esmeralda.
Until it smolders, these people are traitors and must be made examples of. Insolent coward.
Well, for your sake, I hope she isn't in there because you're killing the woman I thought you wanted to have sex with. But as we've come to know, Frollo's a kill first, ask questions never kind of person.
You there! What are you hiding?
Stolen goods, no doubt. Take them from her. The sentence for insubordination is death.
Frollo, didn't you sentence that family over there to death due to treachery? And now you're just gonna let them walk away with no consequences? Oh wait, I forgot, they're Caucasian. Even when they're in trouble, they're not really in trouble.
Get him! And don't kick my horse! Don't waste your arrows. Let the traitor rot in his watery grave.
You mean you didn't notice Esmeralda out of disguise, clearly in your line of sight? Ray Charles would have noticed her from that bridge. He also probably wouldn't have committed the obvious cliche of leaving an assumed dead hero with no evidence of a dead body.
Lesson number 1. Never throw me down a hole unless you make sure I stay there.
And Esmeralda, having seen Phoebus' sacrifice, goes to save him. All while Paris burns down due to a religious, lustful pyromaniac. Back at the cathedral, Quasimodo worries about Esmeralda's safety. But the Gargoyles talk about what's really important: love.
A guy like you. She's never known, kid.
Oh yeah, we gotta bring this thing up.
You've got a look. That's all your own, kid.
Okay, on a purely objective level, this song isn't that bad, at least not compositionally. In a traditional Broadway musical, it fit in just fine. Except this movie is anything but a traditional Broadway musical. I mean, what was the song that played immediately before this one?
Hellfire, dark fire.
And you follow that up with...
Manja above, she's gotta love a guy like you.
That's like an oldie station playing Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. Some things just don't mesh together.
You see that face? You don't forget it.
Yeah, should we really be singing this light-hearted tune over Paris burning to the ground?
Paris, the city of lovers, is glowing this evening. True, that's because it's on fire. But still, there's l'amour.
Actually, this is Disney. They're the kings of poor song choices. Case in point, Bambi.
And since you're shaped like a croissant is...
Gee, thanks for the compliment. What did he want to imply there, that he looked delicious? These guys have as much tact as Sheldon Cooper, which, for the record, is another major flaw with these characters. They're supposed to be the nice mentors and best friends who really relate to Quasimodo in a way that no one else has. Kind of like loving parents to a kid constantly bullied at school. But they're more like incredibly dysfunctional, on the verge of divorcing parents that just mock each other.
They always said you were the cute one.
I thought I was the cute one.
No, you're the fat, stupid one with the big mouth.
Ignorance is bliss.
Then give her some slack, then reel her in. Then give her some slack.
Knock it off, Hugo. She's a girl, not a mackerel.
I know it's supposed to come off like playful, sarcastic banter you'd see in sitcoms, but first off, that's still very off-tone for this movie, and second, there's no sense of unity between the gargoyles. The only thing they seem to have in common is their genuine care for Quasimodo, which is admirable, but does that save them? Put a pin in that. As soon as the song ends, Esmeralda comes to Quasimodo with a wounded Phoebus to heal him, because that's clearly a smart place to hide him since Frollo goes there often. Couldn't you have, I don't know, brought him to the Court of Miracles yourself or something? Sure, it's a place filled with wanted criminals, but Phoebus is a criminal in the story now, so what do any of you have to lose?
You're lucky. That arrow almost pierced your heart.
I'm not so sure it didn't.
Wow, speaking of piercing through the heart, this was one heck of a revelation for Quasimodo.
I knew I'd never know that warm and loving glow, though I might wish with all my might. No face as hideous as my face was ever meant for heaven's light.
This is truly one of the saddest scenes I've ever seen from Disney, and one of the few that doesn't even include death. In the foreground anyway. But he still promises Esmeralda to keep him safe, just as Frollo is coming up the stairs to question Quasimodo.
Looks very much like the gypsy girl. I know. You helped her escape!
She was kind to me, Master.
You idiot!
So he wrecks everything Quasimodo ever cared about. You know, this movie is short of good metaphors, and gives the implication that he knows the location of the Court of Miracles and will attack at dawn, which forces Quasimodo and Phoebus to work together to find it first and warn them. And given the scene that we saw prior to it, this'll be awkward.
Coming with you.
Glad you changed your mind.
I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for her.
Quasi shows the band Esmeralda gave him and discovers it's a map, which they follow into the sewers and discover the Court of Miracles welcome wagon.
You're very clever to have found our hideaway. Unfortunately, you won't live to tell the tale.
So he sings the song The Court of Miracles, which builds a great case for the innocence of the gypsies.
We have a method for spies and intruders, rather like hornets protecting their hide. Here in the Court of Miracles, where it's a miracle if you get out alive.
But right as they're about to be executed, Esmeralda comes forward and vouches for them.
This is the soldier who saved the miller's family, and Quasimodo helped me escape the cathedral.
Wait a minute, so did you just not tell Cleopatra and the other gypsies, hey, this hunchback set me free and former captain saved an innocent family, don't kill them on entry?
Got a funny way of showing gratitude.
Despite their good intentions, it's revealed this was all a ploy for Frollo and his guards to follow them there. And so the slaughtering begins. Okay, no, they don't begin killing there. They instead bring Esmeralda to a public execution. However, Frollo gives her one opportunity to save herself.
Yet even now it is not too late. I can save you from the flames of this world and the next. Choose me or the fire.
Yeah, you're about as immune from hell as Pazuzu, so I think we all know the answer here. How many Disney characters have literally spit in the face of evil? Most underrated Disney character ever. A heartbroken and defeated Quasimodo just remains chained to the bell tower, having given up all hope of fixing the problem.
But you can't let Frollo win.
He already has.
These chains aren't what's holding you back, Quasimodo.
Leave me alone.
Okay, so the worst possible ending could be happening right now. But the gargoyles, the most disliked characters in the movie, are motivating Quasimodo to fight back. I told you I'd say something nice about them, and there's actually more later on, but we'll get to that later. So he breaks free and insert the most epic scene in the entire movie. This further angers Frollo as he employs the guards to break open the cathedral. But Phoebus and the gypsies break free and proceed to fight off the guards in help of Quasi and Esme.
Citizens of Paris, Frollo has persecuted our people, ransacked our city. Now he has declared war on Notre Dame herself. Will we allow it?
And it leads to an epic climax where, yes, even the gargoyles fight. Again, the whole argument about them just being figments of Quasi's imagination is completely thrown out the window. At least they're being helpful here, though still making weak, out-of-place jokes.
Fly, my pretties, fly, fly!
You're destroying the Wizard of Oz! You'll need to do that. Sam Raimi already did that.
Eventually, lava begins pouring down Notre Dame, but even that doesn't stop Frollo from getting in to kill Esmeralda. But he seems to have beaten himself to the punch.
It was my duty, horrible as it was. I hope you can forgive me.
And given that Quasimodo was the only other thing that stopped his plans for so-called order, he tries to kill him, which goes completely against what his goal at the beginning was of redeeming himself. But he lost that attempt with this scene. At least we know the inspiration for Cody from Total Drama. It's revealed that she's still alive as they try to escape the tip of Frollo's sword, but Frollo gains a leg up on them.
And he shall smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit.
Not a direct Bible scripture, but if it had been, wouldn't that have been ironic last words?
Of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher.
Quasi is saved by Phoebus, and miraculously, night becomes day, and the streets are free of lava. The moral of this story is, religion is a lie, and only believe in Disney magic. And Quasimodo comes back into the sunlight for the first time since the Feast of Fools, and this scene makes me cry every time I see it. Is so darn precious. Wait, how did we get to this scene? Quasimodo would have never been accepted by the public had he not saved the life of an innocent gypsy, whom never would have been falsely convicted had she not come to his aid in the Feast of Fools, who never would have been in trouble had he not come to the festival at all. So what persuaded Quasimodo to go to the festival in the first place?
As your friends and guardians, we insist you attend the festival.
That's right. I told you I'd have something nice to say about these guys by the end.
If watching is all you're gonna do, then you're gonna watch your life go by without you.
Yeah. None of this heartfelt, inspirational, tear-jerker ending would have been possible had the gargoyles not motivated Quasimodo to go to the festival. That is a truly heroic moment. Granted, it also led to all of this.
Hail to the king!
But if the Emperor was this adorable moment, it's all for the greater good. So he's lifted up in celebration and carried off to, I'm not really sure, a bar. And the movie ends on this truly triumphant note.
Don't you ever migrate.
Except that kinda killed the vibe there. Whoa! Okay, that makes mocking the gargoyles far more awkward. Shame on me. And that was Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. One of my all-time favorite movies. I won't deny that it isn't perfect though. It doesn't follow the book very closely, some of the new story elements it incorporates are pretty clumsy, and of course the gargoyles are weak points. But none of the weak stuff in this movie can hold a candle to the best parts. When this movie does a scene right, it does it right. Quasimodo is wonderful and inspirational, Frollo is dark and ruthless, Esmeralda is one of the best female characters I've ever seen out of Disney, and even the gargoyles I can find some merit in, despite their obvious flaws. And on top of that, this movie is filled with great emotional, suspenseful, and downright epic moments, which are complemented perfectly by the animation and the music, which are among Disney's finest. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is a movie I've loved from the moment I saw it, and I'll continue to love it to the end of my days. It begs the question of why I didn't buy this movie on Blu-ray earlier. I mean, I've got to see what extra features they've got with this thing. It's probably got some good documentaries, audio commentary, a second movie. Ah!